our situation is in the state of New York. Anyone who wants to vote in the Republican primary for the 2012 presidential election must be registered Republican by October 14th. We only have a few weeks. So if you have friends who are independent, or in no party at all, or who are in the rent is too damn high party, I think there's only 2 people in that. The Conservative Party, any other party, if they do not change to Republican by October 14th, which is 25 days before the general, they will not be able to vote for any candidate in the Republican primary. And I think as a Republican club, that would be of concern to you. So I brought for the board members some documents. It's from Smart Girl Politics. Now, I'm not representing Smart Girl. I do syndicate my content there. This is just some resource material that they have, and it basically walks you through setting up a voter registration table, some how-tos. Now, this is not state-specific, it's a generic. So you would be calling your Board of Elections to get that done, and setting up a voter registration table. You could do it in a mall if you get the mall owner's permission. And some mall owners, if you're doing voter registration, they usually let you go, especially if you're not promoting a candidate. The other thing, and some of you have gotten this in the mail, I have, there are opportunities now through the Board of Elections to become a poll worker. So if you can get some excuse time from school or from your jobs, that's a fantastic opportunity, because you can see how the whole electoral process works on a full shift. And you get $200 for the day, so it's not a bad deal. I think you got one of these in the mail.
Yep.
I got this today. Now, this voter registration, I've been doing this under the auspices of Organize4Palin. I'm the New York State coordinator. Some of you may have seen me on Facebook the last couple of weeks pushing the voter registration issue. I've also been doing it on Twitter, and some people have been responding and saying, oh, I didn't realize that, and they've been getting their friends. One person got 5 of their friends, another person got 3 that I know of. So the social media is having some effect, but if we're going to get more registrations, we're going to have to go the route of setting up a table, doing that human networking. And I'm also going to be replicating that with the Molinari Republican Club soon. Whenever they have their next meeting, I want to discuss with them voter registration and poll working. And hopefully the entire Young Republican system throughout the state of New York will be on this same page, that we need to get this done. We don't have time. I mean, everyone in this room is registered Republican, but I'm sure everyone knows someone who might have Republican leanings but is not registered in the party. And this is a critical election coming up next year. I don't think you need me to tell you that. We want to get Obama out of office. And whatever candidate you favor, right? Whether it's Sarah Palin or Herman Cain or Michelle Bachmann or anyone else, you can't vote for any of them in the primary if you're not registered. That's the bottom line. That's where we're at. So if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Go ahead.
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah.
You said that you have a list of Sarah Palin's activities.
Yes, I do. As for the prior year, you go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, what is her plans? What does she want to do as far as her agendas, where she wants to run, what she wants to do, that kind of thing?
That's a good question. I don't have any inside knowledge from the Palin camp as to her intentions.
Mm-hmm.
What I did do this evening is compile a very brief summary of what she has said and done over the last year. And to me, it has all the hallmarks of a presidential candidate. So we go back to November 2010 when the new Congress came in. Michael Grimm, who she endorsed, was one of them. And I campaigned for him heavily. She released a message on November 13th of last year to all the new people in Congress. And basically her message to them was to rein in out-of-control spending, repeal Obamacare, cut the deficit, cut wasteful spending, cut earmarks, cancel the remaining stimulus, reform entitlements, encourage zero-based budgeting, no tax hikes, secure the borders first, strong defense, free trade, nurture allies, steadfastly oppose enemies, no cuts to necessities in the defense budget, no START treaty. Those, that was an issue at the time. And also an issue at the time, there was this whole move afoot to bring terrorists and try them here in New York City courts. Right, and she was against that. 2009, 2010, she traveled to Hong Kong, traveled to Canada. This year, she's traveled to India and Israel. She's going to be traveling to South Korea. She has spoken out against quantitative easing, been speaking out against Obamacare since before it became law. Been speaking out on foreign policy and national security matters for the past 3 years. Earlier in the year, she hired a chief of staff, Michael Glassner. He used to work on the Dole campaign. She then hired a new foreign policy advisor, and that person, the people who were replaced were neoconservatives, Randy Schuneman and Michael Goldfarb. They were replaced by Mr. Schweitzer, a Hoover Fellow, and he's a Reagan conservative. So that happened this year. She came out with a 5-point military doctrine. That was in May. And basically, I'll just summarize those real quick. Only commit forces when U.S. interests are at stake. Fight to win. Must only go out if you have clearly defined goals and objectives. Our soldiers should never be under a foreign command. And using force should be a last resort. So those are her 5-point military doctrine. And then in Iowa, she came out with her 5-point economic recovery plan. And I was there in Iowa. I met her, I was there those 2 days at the machine shed and also in Indianola. In Indianola, her 5-point plan is stop out of control, overreaching federal government, enforce the 10th Amendment. Again, repeal Obamacare. Said that last year. Prioritize and cut, cancel unused stimulus. Okay, back again, reform entitlements. She said that last year also. Become an energy superpower. Drill here, drill now. Develop our own resources. Eliminate the federal corporate income tax, eliminate corporate welfare, loopholes, and bailouts. Of course, she had the bus tour in the Northeast. She had one in the Midwest. And she also went on the attack against crony capitalism in Iowa. So when you put all these activities together in a big picture, to me, it means she's running. To me, it's a clear signal that she's running. I could be wrong. Known me wrong before. But I would say the odds of her running now, if I were a gambling man, I would put them at around 97 to 99% that she's running.